I've been working on some refinements of this small GlidePoint. This is a 23 millimeter diameter GlidePoint device, and I've had to change a couple of things because of problems I found along the way. First off, I wanted to slim down the height of this part, and I was able to get it down by about 2 millimeters or so, where every millimeter counts. Now the downside is that I had previously had the cable coming out the side of it, but I can't do that because what I found when I packaged it all together, it crimped the connecting cable so much that it was breaking the leads and making it unreliable. So what I had to do is I have the cable coming out the back. Now the benefit of this though is that it is much easier to replace this cable if it goes bad. The cable is the weakest link with all of this, unfortunately. So as before, I have these rings that attach on the back of the sensor, so I've printed out a variety of sizes so you could try out and see which one fits, and then once we find one that fits or one that's close, I could print more of them. I did label all of them with the diameter in millimeters, so you could say, oh, I need more of the 20s or whatnot. So that just spins on, and the last we talked, we decided that we're going to switch over the control to be finger control and holding it on thumb. So in this case, what you want to have is you want to have the cable facing down, and there's a little notch on the front, on the top, that shows where the top is. And the current programming I have it is when you move towards the top or up, it will move the cursor up, down, down, and then left, left, right, right. So when you look at the screen, you go up, down, left, right. Now, if you try to put it on your finger and do this, the left and right are going to be swapped, so keep that in mind. I could update that with firmware easy enough, and I'm trying to make it so it's user changeable, but not at this point. So right now I'm thinking thumb and finger like that. Now I did I revisited the little control box, and I really tried to shrink it down in size as much as I can, and this is the end result. It's about as small as I could make it given the microcontroller inside, and the USB-C plugs into the side like that. And there is a hole in the top. The hole in the top is for the reset or boot button if we need to reprogram it. That way you can get at it without having to pop the cover off. Now this is not glued, so the cover can be popped off pretty easily. So I've got most of the code working out. I am noticing that it will kind of continue to float a little bit, so I'm going to have to check the ranging before I ship it out. Usually a tap will get it to stop moving around, but I'm trying to avoid any phantom movements if possible. It is pretty sensitive, so it doesn't take much to move the mouse cursor around. It's not, I wouldn't call it crazy sensitive, but it is pretty quick. It's actually probably it kind of reminds me of the feel of a track point on ThinkPads. That sort of limit of movement. So, and oh, one other thing, the code on here uses my newest mouse code, which is called touch and hold. So when you're holding in one direction, like left, you don't have to keep swiping like you would on a touchpad. You just hold it to the left, and it will keep going until you release your finger. The same thing for any direction. So that kind of, I had a user who had requested that, and it works out pretty well for the mouse controlled devices. So that's where we're at. I want to do a little bit more code tonight and just make sure that it's, try to eliminate the phantom movement as much as possible. But other than that, I think I'll be ready to ship this tomorrow.